Alright all, John from Blown Cartridge here with another nice little thing I've come across with my past few weeks of flipping and selling and buying and selling games and such. Now, this is a video I was really excited to make, so I've got quite a big connection to the item that I'm about to show you. Now, I'll give you a bit of story just kind of so you know why I kind of hold it so dear, or at least I did when I was a kid. So, take your mind back to about the very early 2000s, so I was only about 10 or 11 or something around them times. I'd never really had my own Game Boy at that point. I'd been a gamer. I had a Mega Drive. I had a NES, I believe, at one point for Duck Hunt and the like. So I was a gamer even then at that age. But I'd never had my own Game Boy. And at that time, Pokemon was running rampant. So you had the Pokemon anime, you had the Pokemon games. Blue and Red, obviously, and Green over in Japan had already been out. But I'd never had my own, so I believe it was one of my birthdays. I took my mum to Toys R Us, massive, or what used to be a massive toy store of everyone's dreams back when they were a child, where you'd go and ride on bikes and run into people's ankles willy-nilly and kids would just go a bit feral. But I took my mum there and there was one thing I had on my mind, so I wanted a Pokemon game. Now, the first game I actually got for that at the time, because it was out, was this. Pokemon Silver for the Game Boy Color. Now, I absolutely love this game. I played for many, many hours and still do. It's one of them games that I play at least once a year, have a go on, do it with a different starter, do different challenges, yada, yada, yada. Really good game. Now, that had only just about come out. Like I say, I'm trying to think what the time period was, but it was between the Game Boy Advance being out and Crystal not being out, I believe, Pokemon Crystal. Now, when I went with my mum to Toys R Us, I wanted a Game Boy. Now, I also wanted Pokemon Silver, so it was the choice I had at the time of picking between a Game Boy Color and a Game Boy Advance. Now, obviously what makes the most sense nowadays, in my now a bit more developed adult mind, is you'd get the Game Boy Advance. But as a kid, even then I was a bit judgy about some of my games in a really stupid gamery way, and I was like, no, I want the Game Boy Color, because a lot of bad things had come out about the Game Boy Advance. Basically, everyone couldn't see the screen. Not that you could see the screen on a Game Boy Color much anyway. But I wanted to get a Game Boy Color. I didn't know which one I wanted. The best thing with Game Boys at the time is you could get blue ones, you could get yellow ones, all the kinds of jazzy colours. But on that day at Toys R Us, we went over to the little signs where you can find things, and there's, you'd pick up your little card and take it to the desk. And there was one picture that stood out to me, and I needed that console then and there. And that's what I did. I got rid of not getting, out of my head, got rid of the idea of getting a Game Boy Advance, and I needed this console. And the console that I probably put way too many hours in that I should have when I was a kid was this one. This is the Pokemon Special Edition Game Boy Color. Even now, looking at it from back, this isn't the one that I had when I was a kid. I was one of them kids that when I was younger would sell Game Boys and games in general, to be honest with you, once I'd played them or had enough of them. I wish I still kept this. I believe, thinking back, I maybe got rid of my original one at a car boot sale when I was a teenager, just to kind of get a bit more money in it at one point. But yeah, this is the one that I picked up on that day, shunning the GBA and all the GBA line of games just to get this one. Because at that time, Pokemon Mania was going rampant. I wanted to be that kid at the school with the Pokemon Game Boy Color, and at the time the second generation was going pretty wild, because you've got Totodile and Chikorita, because even though it's got Pikachu on it, it does obviously have Pichu on it as well, from the second generation, which Gold and Silver for me were like some of the best gaming times of my life, as it were. But yeah, so I picked up this one, and I came across this just the other day on eBay. And I kind of thought to myself, it brought back a lot of nostalgia, so a little bit of it was a bit of a guilty purchase. But I'd never actually seen one in this good condition, at least the console. The box is in pretty good nick. But obviously, I mean, it has been used and it has been torn open, as much any kid would have back in the day. It's all the kind of legal gubbins on the back, because they sold it all as Europe. But yeah, so I'm just going to unbox this, show you what kind of came with it, and kind of relive my time as a kid. Like I say, I spent so much time on this console as a child. I played all sorts on it. I played a lot of Metal Gear, played a lot of Tetris, obviously, because I've never had an original DMG Game Boy to play the original Tetris, and obviously the Game Boy Color could could play old Game Boy games. But yeah, so it came with the instruction booklet, which has always annoyed me that it's had the American spelling for colour, but there we go. I don't know if there's anything interesting in here whatsoever. Sometimes you can find really, that's in German, I don't read that. I hope that was German. Sometimes you find some really interesting stuff in these manuals. Sometimes you find something that's a bit of a laugh or something that takes you kind of back to the past, as it were. Changing the screen colour. Yeah, so this is something really cool that not many people know, is that for original Game Boy packs, so like original Game Boy games, the big grey cartridges that were on the original DMG Game Boy, you can actually change the colour palette for what that game would display like in the Game Boy Color. So you could have, like, there was a red, I believe, and a blue, and it wouldn't do much other than apply that kind of colour retroactively to the Game Boy games, which was pretty cool. What else have we got here? How to take a cartridge in and out, how to turn it on and off. Link cables, which of course were important if you wanted to battle Pokemon back in the days, because there was no wireless at all. Ooh, infrared. There's a bit of extinct kind of technology for transferring data nowadays. It used to take like an hour just to do anything on infrared. Back in the day when you'd sit on the bus and kind of send ringtones to each other's on your mobile phones back when they had infrared. Those were the days. That's more languages that I don't understand. But yeah, so back to what actually comes in the box as well. What is this? I can't remember. I wouldn't have read any of this when I was a kid because I was far too interested in playing the game. Epilepsy warnings, backward, more safety stuff. We don't care about that right now. We're safe with our Game Boys. Let's see what else we've got in here. The only thing left, I think, should be the cartridge. Not the cartridge, sorry, the console. Let me see if there's anything else in here first. Sometimes you used to get little advertisements for, I don't know what was out at the time. Trying to think if the N64 was out at the time. I don't think we were at GameCube levels. But yeah, so that was kind of like the boxes in a good nick. And the instructions and everything. Now this is kind of what intrigued me the most. So it's still got its very old now. I mean, God, this must be old. Obviously, about 20 years old now or something. So it's still got its original plastic when it came in. But yeah, guys, like, look at this. Like, this thing is like immaculate. Well, as immaculate as you can get for something that's been used that's about 20 years old. It's not a copy either. It's got the actual, what I believe is the green button, as opposed to, you see a lot of the fakes that kind of reskins like this and they've got the blue on them. But this is the legit one, and it's in such a good condition. Obviously it does have a few marks, and I'll be giving it a bit of a clean before regrettably settling it on. But it's such a good console. It feels dinky in my hands now, but when I was a kid you'd have to think I'd have really tiny hands. But yeah, it's in such a nice condition. No bumps that I can see, no scrapes. In a really good, normally you'd find like the sides or a corner are scraped. I've put some batteries in this beforehand, I believe. Yeah, there's some cheapo batteries. I'm going to give this a clean up after this video and just kind of get it ready to sell on. But yeah, it's such a nice console. Obviously you've got your Pikachu here and your Pichu there, because like I say, it was around the second generation of Pokemon, and it's still now, with adult hands, feels so nice to just hold. I mean, obviously you can play Game Boy Color games on all sorts nowadays. You can emulate them. You can play them with wireless controllers on your PC or on an analog pocket or that kind of gubbins. But this still takes me right back to just being a kid, to back in the days where you'd have to sit. If it was in the dark, you'd have to sit directly under the lamp, or if you were outside, you hadn't got any chance unless you directly kind of shun the sun at the right angle to see everything. So yes, I'm going to put Pokemon Silver in it to kind of get a bit of that nostalgia kick, because I've not seen it on a screen like this on this kind of like original Game Boy that I had as a child for so long. Oh, it's worked first time as well. I didn't have to blow the cartridge or anything. That's, well, not that you should blow cartridges, but there you go. Game Freak, yes. And what was really cool about it as well is because the little kind of Pokemon freak that I am, well, was at the time and still am, Pikachu's little cheek, or one of them that you can see, lights up with the colour of the batteries when it's turned on, which is absolutely fantastic. Oh, listen to that sound. Oh, that feels fantastic. I'm not going to play that because otherwise I'll be playing it all night and all for the next few days, and I don't want that. I've got stuff I need to be doing, other things I need to be fixing. But yeah, guys, I just thought I'd have a quick little video just kind of show this off. I absolutely loved this as a kid, and you know, I still kind of do now. I will be selling this on, regrettably, but you know, I'm a flipper at the end of the day for finding these things and just kind of. I mean, I have my own collection as well, but you know, this is one of the things that I'd rather someone else appreciate because it's such a nice collector's piece. It'll look even better once I've given it a good clean. But yeah, thanks for your time today, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video and kind of it's taken you back to the past a little bit. And I'll speak to you again. Ta-ra.